Hello internet and welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions, the place where we wonder how successfully we can sneak a few Halloween specials in before anyone starts to notice. What's going on guys? As always, I'll be your disembodied floating voice Jack Finch as we refuel the chainsaw, rev up the bout before doing an interpretive dance in front of a glorious low light sunset and suspiciously ask the question, what if Leatherface was real? Roll the clip. You all know the noise, the synonymous chainsaw buzz from Tobe Hooper's seminal 1974 slasher masterpiece, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, an indie horror flick made on a shoestring budget that cemented itself as the birth of slasher cinema itself, hurtling the colossal killer Leatherface into the ranks of iconic horror legends. So iconic in fact that The Texas Chainsaw Massacre went on to spawn 8 horror films, a slew of comics, and even a place alongside Scorpion in Mortal Kombat X. Created by renowned horror director Tobe Hooper and Kim Henkel, Leatherface is the household name when it comes to cannibalistic rural families and unemployed slaughterhouse slayers. But what if he was real? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he kind of was. Before we jump into that whole debacle though guys, you know the drill by now, don't you? If you're a fan of this video, Tobe Hooper, horror cinema, Leatherface, or just life's biggest questions in general, then be a dear and hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe bell so you can stay up to date with our latest and greatest uploads. If you'd like to find out more about life's biggest questions or get in touch with myself and the creative team, then take a peek at the info box down below and say hello. Leatherface, aka Jedediah Sawyer, doesn't do things the way that most other horror icons do. He's not supernatural in any way, he wasn't ushered forward as part of some demonic ritual, he's not a criminal mastermind who plays games with his victims for the sheer joy of it. He's a large man with a chainsaw who wears people's skin as a mask, while helping his cannibalistic family to round up unsuspecting road trip teenagers, chop them into tiny pieces and cook them in their world famous award winning chili. Yeah, the sequels get a little bit weird. And for the most part, Leatherface has one of the most rewritten origin stories in the whole of horror cinema. In the 1974 version, he was the straight up Leatherface we know and love. In the 1986 sequel, based 13 years later, he shed a few pounds and strapped on a tuxedo. Throughout the next strange few rewrites and mashups, he's a pizza eating transvestite involved with an Illuminati conspiracy, a dumpster baby with a rare skin disorder, and an escaped mental hospital patient with a skin face mustache. Still, the sentiment always remained the same, and director Tobe Hooper explicitly stated on several occasions that Leatherface's prime directive was to be a big, murderous baby. A killer that never actually murdered out of malice, but in self-defense at the strange, perturbed understanding of feeling threatened. Fear. Leatherface is the product of the Sawyers, his twisted, macabre family that, while not only lacking moral fibre, probably also lack the benefits of a well-rounded diet. Far from the truth is the real story then, and the story of the serial killer that Leatherface is based on, Ed Gein, an American murderer and body snatcher who has also inspired Norman Bates from Psycho and Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Gein's story was so twisted, deranged, and physically taboo that his murderous deeds struck a chord in the modern public psyche. Leatherface was real in the realization that a human being could go to such disturbing lengths to feel what it'd be like to live inside someone else's skin. Also known as the Butcher of Plainfield, Edward Theodore Gein was born in 1906 and lived for the majority of his life in the same town that the horrific crimes would be committed, Plainfield, Wisconsin. Although he was only ever found guilty of murdering 2 women, tavern owner Mary Hogan in 1954 and a Plainfield hardware store owner Bernice Warden in 1957, Gein was also responsible for exhuming countless freshly buried corpses from local graveyards, manifesting in him a morbid fascination with the mortality of flesh. After Gein's arrest following the disappearance of Bernice Warden, county sheriffs would search the Gein farm, where they found her decapitated body in a shed. She was hung upside down with a crossbar separating her ankles and wrists, and police later reported in their notes that the torso appeared to be dressed out like a deer. However, the unearthing of Gein's strange fascination with flesh was far from over. After searching the house, authorities later found untold numbers of whole human bones and fragments, a wastebasket made made from human skin, human skulls that adorned his bedposts, a corset made from a female torso, as well as leggings, and an entire handcrafted mask made from the skin of human faces. Leatherface was very much real, and he was born that evening on November 16th, 1957. Leatherface, both the original 1974 Tobe Hooper horror flick and the ever-changing iconic horror legend himself, in essence is a stark and bloody reminder of the reality of the grotesque lengths that the human mind can go to, the pained and twisted existence of Ed Gein. Oftentimes reality hits harder than fiction. Horror cinema is a conduit for that, masterfully crafted by Tobe Hooper himself, who held up a mirror to the silver screen and showed us exactly what true evil looks like. Well, unfortunately folks, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Cheers for sticking around all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, then why don't you leave a thumbs up and share it on with a friend, because nothing says Halloween like the morbid plight of human existence. If you'd like to continue on with your questioning binge, then feel free to hit that playlist floating conveniently above. On behalf of LBQ, I'd like to wish you all a happy Halloween. As always, I've been your host Jack Finch, you've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.